Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. If you needed more proof why you shouldn't take a lot of these dudes on social media and YouTube serious, I'm finna give you an example. I had a chance to look at whatever that was supposed to be between, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. And for anybody to say they was entertained by watching that garbage, because that's what it was pure garbage. And to think that I considered actually, covering something like that. It's funny how you have all these so-called boxing pundits, and I'm going to continue to call you guys out because you guys are just full of shit, and it's just time to say it. It's funny how you guys love to holler about what Shakur Stevenson should or shouldn't do or should have did, or what Terrence Crawford should have did, or how Terrence Crawford ain't fought nobody, Shakur Stevenson ain't fought nobody, or anybody that's not aligned with the PBC, because a lot of you guys are just PBC nut huggers. But to sit up here and try to say that you was entertained by watching that filth, because that's exactly what that was, watching Jake Paul and Nate Diaz put on basically a clown show. At the end of the day, I keep saying Jake Paul should not be labeled as a professional boxer. Now, if you want to say he a entertainer / celebrity boxer, yeah, that's fine. But he should not be categorized as a professional boxer when he keeps fighting former, past their prime MMA fighters. Nate Diaz wasn't even taking that serious. He came in there to get a check and sort of make it look decent, but it didn't even look decent. He wasn't even trying to fight. He was sitting up there strutting and just doing stuff that's not supposed to be attached to boxing. Because at the end of the day, boxing is a dangerous sport. And to see that these dudes making a mockery out of it, Jake Paul, and people giving him a pass. Okay, he's like, what, 7, 8 fights in now. Now it's time to fight real people. But there's no pressure from these so-called boxing pundits. Where you soul brothers at? Where you militant niggas at now? That's always trying to talk all that black shit. But yet, here it is, Jake Paul basically stealing money from people, because that's basically what he doing. Putting together these BS fights, putting him in a position where he don't have to take a risk, and where him losing a fight is not really in jeopardy. You already seen what happens when he fought a half decent fighter. He lost. He got beat. And if you look at some of the punches Nate Diaz was throwing, had Nate Diaz been really taking his fight serious, he would have probably did a lot better. But he was in there just to make Jake Paul look sellable. Listen, I'm going to keep it 100. Jake Paul can't fight worth shit as far as professional boxing standards go. The average mediocre boxer would destroy him. And he knows it. But yet people sit up here covering this stuff. People sit up there giving this dude attention. Because if I was a real boxer, I wouldn't even pay this dude no mind. And to think you got dudes that actually really got in the ring and took risks. But this dude continues to fight dudes that he know he can beat, that he can outbox. And saying outbox with him is being nice. Jake Paul has no defense whatsoever. He loads up. You can see his punches coming a mile away. For real. And I would love to see what his actual pay-per-view numbers is, because it's amazing. If he was selling the type of pay-per-view numbers that they have you believe that he's selling, why did Showtime let him go to Top Rank? And why did Top Rank let him go back to the Zone? You just got to ask these questions. And then I don't even care what's next. I don't even think he gonna fight Fury again, because he afraid that Fury would beat him again, which he would. And I think Fury would beat him worse than he did the first time. And that just goes to show you, if you put a half decent boxer in there with him, they'll beat him. That's why he went right back to fighting these past their prime, pushing 40 MMA fighters. Our son was almost 50. And I'm sorry, this should not be called professional boxing. This is just one step above the WWE. You pretty much can say that the outcome was scripted. And if you watch how Nate Diaz fought, he wasn't even remotely trying to win that fight. And that's just the honest to God truth. But people keep like basically talking about this dude. I am so serious. I am not covering nothing that has Jake Paul's name attached to it, because I know the play on him. He just going to continue to find some MMA guy or some NBA basketball player or some hockey player that don't have no boxing experience to fight and try to knock them out. Now he ain't even knocking people out no more. And that's just real talk. He couldn't stop Anderson Silva, couldn't stop Nate Diaz, couldn't stop, Tommy Fury. So I'm just saying, when is somebody going to tell the truth about this dude? See, this is the difference between me and a lot of these other dudes. While everybody's sitting up here making videos, talking about other people, talking about what the brothers should do, they don't want to talk about this dude. And I don't want to hear this stuff, well, by me not talking about him, I'm not giving him any play. Well, you don't have no problem talking about Terrence Crawford, so get out of here with this stuff. But you're supposed to be such a boxing purist. You don't have no problem talking about who Terrence Crawford didn't fight, or he had a terrible resume. Well, what do you call this? This is why people call him Fake Paul. This is why they call him Fake Paul. And if anybody take this dude seriously, something is seriously wrong with you. This guy is a complete cornball. And it's just sad that this dude gets attention for basically putting together these bullshit, pretty much staged fights with MMA fighters. And I don't want to hear about him trying to fight a professional fighter in Hasim Rahman Jr. He threw every obstacle possible to try to have an advantage. He knew damn well that dude wasn't going to be able to make weight. That was just a way to get out of that fight. And then at the time, he knew Tommy Fury couldn't get a temporary green card or visa to come fight in the States because of what happened with his brother. So it's just all cap. I swear I am not giving this dude the time of the day. But my problem is, how can you sit up there? Some people sit up there and act like this is something fun to watch. This ain't no spectacle. It's a travesty to anybody that ever laced him up. And I know some of these announcers and broadcasters and analysts get paid to basically talk about this fight. But I know deep down inside, they like, what the hell is this? There are some things you just shouldn't do for money. If you a professional fighter that was a former world champion or at least fought more than 20 times and gave blood, sweat, and tears to the sport, and then you see this dude come out of nowhere who basically gets all this notoriety and attention, who basically fights nobodies and gets put on pay-per-view on a regular basis, you got to be scratching your head looking at, what the hell is this? This is why boxing is in the toilet. We coming off a spectacular fight that happened last week, and then we got to witness and bear witness to this bullshit. Enough said. This your boy Town. I'm out.